So the modern international monetary system, or IMS, originated in the 8th, 19th, and early 20th century, and is brought forth with the development of international trade and world economy. Has some characteristics. As the first is that a sound system. From the macroeconomic perspectives, a sound IMS system should have the following characteristics. First, as can be able to promote international trade, coordinated development of the quantity, structure, and or geography, and can boost more freely international capital flow and effective allocation of resources in global scope and world economy steady growth. And from the financial point of view, it offers the world economy an effective and matching international solvency. That IMS has a good balance of payment adjustment mechanism that keep people up with an optimistic attitude to the international financial system situation. And the type of the IMS is typically can depends on what characteristic we use to classify them. First is from the conscious organized. Whether it's consciously organized, it can be divided to the spontaneous or quasi IMS and artificially arranged system. If it classified from the view of general nature of the reserve assets, such as monetary standards or reserve currencies, it can be divided to gold standards, non-convertible paper currencies, or the credit standard, or gold exchange standard, that is in between. From the perspective of the exchange rate system, there are fixed or managed floating or free floating. The systems start with the Bretton Woods system, which we covered a little bit in our previous class. It started by the Britain and the US as a measure to rebuild of world economic systems. That is in 1944, July. 44 countries held an expert meeting in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, US. They agreed on a Bretton Woods agreement, or namely the International Monetary Fund Agreement or International Bank for Reconstruction and Development Agreement, or later called the World Bank Agreement. They have just signed the agreement, but it took effect 1 year later, in 1945, in December. Uh, After the ratification by members governments representing more than 65 of the total IMF shares by the group it enters into force. So they need to get certain shares in order to take effect, even if its side is not effective. And so the organization was founded on the IMF was founded in December 1945 and began to operate in March 1947. By the end of um, 2016, the organization has totally 189 members, and the International Bank for Construction and Development was officially opened in 1945 December, and the IMF and World Bank become specialized agencies of the United Nations. And China is a founding member of the IMF and the World Bank. And in April 1980, China resumed at IMF's lawful seats. And in May 1980, it restored the legitimate seat at the World Bank. So about the IMF, it is a permanent institution for international monetary consultation and cooperation. And the core of the IMF is a core of the monetary system after the World War II. The purpose of it is to stable the exchange rate, promote the development of international trade, and the damage of the high level of to enhance the level of employment, promote the growth of national income. To complete the task, the IMF want to provide short-term credit as a means for members, adjust the balance sheet BOP imbalance, and cancel the foreign exchange control that also requires the member to avoid the competitive currency devaluation. And in order to guarantee the measures implemented, the IMF has established a complete set of rules. The activities of the International Monetary Fund is decided by members' votes. Each member has a basic vote to 250 and for them to the International Monetary Fund's share of the pay. It is one vote per 100,000 SDRs. At the same time, according to this situation to adjust to the International Monetary Fund lending. And in fact, the IMF is similar to a stock company in operation. Initially in the US, it is $8.8 billion, account for 31% of the total share, and international IMF major events requires 80% of the votes. That means if IMF can't prove or execute any important decision without the US support. And And the quarter has adjusted every 5 years to reflect the relative change in members' economies and trade. By the end of 1980s, American share of the total is 120 billion and has fallen to 21%, and Britain has fallen to 7%. Germany is about 6%. France and Japan is about 5%. So the advanced economies still play a decisive role in the IMF. And at the beginning of the 21st century, the share of the US has still about 15%. It was still capable of making negative decisions on major issues of the international finance. And the international balance of payment imbalance are mainly resolved by deficit members obtaining short-term financing from the IMF. The IMF regulations says that when member has needs due to the international balance of payment imbalance, they may use this currency according to the provision of the methods and the programs to buy from a certain amount of foreign currency and had to borrow foreign exchange to repay within a certain period of time. The way to use foreign exchange and gold to buy originally used for the purchase of foreign exchange currency. Therefore, when adjusting the BOP, the more shares the country subscribes, the more the international IMF will be able to borrow from the IMF. Then in order to adjust the BOP, the international IMF has made many adjustments to the grade and methods of loans to adapt to the increasingly complex international economic transactions. The next is fixed exchange rates.